Infected Seed is a debut full-length album from Italian death metal band Miasmic Serum. I'd like to qualify that with some other influences, but this intends to be an old school death metal record in spirit. It's got a little bit of a modern kind of hardcore infused death metal feeling to it. Otherwise, it does feel like it's death metal of the here and now without being brutal death. These folks come from various different backgrounds, whether it's thrash and groove metal to black metal and kind of a death metal hardcore mixture, and even death grind seems to be in their past. And we feel all of those elements on this record. Since they've not been around for more than just a couple of years, they brought in what they know into this group, and you see shades of all of that in the way that they construct death metal. This is not a very close and precise study of bands like Benediction and Gorefest and Obituary, but rather an approximation of the effect of those groups and the way that they create death metal groups. There's not so much a focus on variation as there is infusing energy and punkish beat into a lot of these songs, so that it's a very quick and short record. It's got a very simple way of composing songs, and it doesn't necessarily get deeply involved or too engrossing. It's got a nice listenable quality in that sense, where you can just kind of breeze through the whole thing and just kind of cut to it. So what we'll do that we'll cut to a song right here and get an example of that, and just at least find a groove along the way. So part of that impression that the record gets is from having guest spots that sort of take them into those subgenre tendencies, whether it's death grind with a song with Jason Etherton, or they've got the vocalist from Fulci in there who brings in kind of a more metallic, hardcore-ish death metal feeling to it. Style is not necessarily what's interesting about this band yet. They do keep it concise. They've got a very strong songwriting sense. There's a lot of energy in this music, but really the way that they convey characterizations or scenes in their lyrics and how that matches up with the intent of each song seems to it conveys that they're taking these depictions seriously. They're giving themselves a purpose and an artistic finery and making an event of each song. Some of them blaze by in a couple of minutes and they don't seem like much, but as you repeat the album and you start to read the lyrics and get to know it, they seem like kind of a more of a serious band in terms of trying to put the most that they can into each song so that they count, and not just throwing away a bunch of inside jokes. There's a lot of promise in that, and there's a lot of pretty good riffs on this record and a lot of great use of speed and succinct statements. So it makes for a good listen. I like the album art. I think generally this is a well-rounded record that makes a good first impression, and I think it's worth listening to, even if maybe you're not really into the punkish or the hardcore side of things. This is maybe a modern death metal band that is still in touch with the classic intent of death metal, and they make a good show of it, and it's not a big ask. It's a pretty short record, so check it out for yourself. It releases on June 14th.